Welcome back to another part of awesome jewelry making tips. Let's get started. Have you seen these wonderful polishing papers by 3M before? They make a great alternative to other simple tools like bathing sticks, for example, which I really like using. These are even better. I've cut these papers into smaller pieces so they are easier to use. Let's try them on my ring. It's honestly super simple. You go through all of them from the coarse one to the finest one and rub them on the metal surface. And here's the final effect, a nicely polished surface. The set of these papers costs around $12, which is very inexpensive and is a great alternative. You can also take them on the go with you. Next tip is by Jen from Moody Chick, and it's very clever. This silicone tea infuser is a perfect solution for pickling your tiny elements in the pickling pot. You just pop your metal in and put the infuser inside of the pickling pot. This way you can keep all of the small pieces in one place and don't have to look for them separately. Another tip is for achieving that perfectly flush cut for soldering, like here for example on this bezel. To make sure your seam is perfect and strong, you don't want any gaps between the walls, which should be touching evenly. Most files are too thick for the job, so using a nail file is a great solution. It's very thin and coarse and will help you sand and even out the edges, which in turn will help you achieve that flush closed gap. There are different ways of soldering split ring bands, but most are pretty uncomfortable and take a while to set up. You could use tweezers and build a construction, or you could try this soldering clay. This one's called Hold It. It's a new addition to my soldering station. You take out a little bit and mold it into desired shape. It acts just like your regular clay, very simple to mold and safe to use. You add it onto your soldering surface and shape it. Then you place your rings in it so they are touching on one side, like so. The clay keeps them in place and they won't move. Then you add the solder of your choice and solder them together. You can reuse the clay a couple of times, you just need to add some water. And there it is, your split ring band soldered in a matter of seconds. Now, this one's super simple, but I think it's still worth sharing, using these little brushes to clean your surface from the dust. I use the small flirt paintbrush for when I'm sewing on the bench back, and the larger desk sweeping brush to clean all the dust. It's also great for sweeping that silver dust inside your catch tray. Now check out these other tips, they are really cool too.